everybody. I heard there was a north wind today, so I tried to find a little shelter, though it doesn't seem too windy right now. But so this is the mighty Chippewa River, downstream from the confluence of ways. Right across the way is the Little Niagara. See that white thing there? I thought it was a piece of ice, but it's a piece of it's a plastic bag. Probably when the water was high last year in spring, it got caught in there, and it's remained there ever since. Anyway, so I thought it was pretty good to hear the water flow, hear the sound effects. Sounds nice, doesn't it? So, I got some Parish stuff, a couple thoughts about this and that. I saw the video of the Christmas celebration at Holy Family Parish in Gaza City. And they interviewed a man. He just said it's just so painful. He was the husband and father of two women that were killed. Was it the week before Christmas, I think? Just looking at the camera here. I guess it's the grid on the camera. I don't think it's okay. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that there was Mother Teresa's Order of Nuns, the Missionaries of Charity. There's a whole campus, a Catholic campus in Gaza City, and the convent where the nuns lived was bombed and destroyed, uninhabitable. And two of the women from the parish, kind of like church people, there's only 137 parishioners there. Now, sadly, there's 135, because when they were walking from the church to the convent to lend a hand or to help, snipers shot and killed them. So it's just so awful. It's like the week before Christmas. And so there's the father of the young woman who died, and the wife of the other woman, and the husband of the other woman who died. They interviewed him, and he was composed. He just kept saying, it's just so painful. This is the most painful Christmas ever, which goes without saying. And so I guess I'm just inspired. I don't know, that they continue to hope, and they continue to live. They continue to gather and pray. Maybe their prayer is, why, God? Why are you allowing this to happen? Maybe their prayer is, receive the souls of those who've died and help us to live on in hope. Help us not lose hope. Help us to know that you are with us even in our struggles. I'm not sure. It'd be very interesting to, I can't imagine having to preach there, on Christmas. But I do imagine that when you're there, what people are experiencing, and try to lend the eyes of faith to that. So anyway, I wasn't planning on just starting with that right away, but it's right in the wake of Christmas. So last time was, I guess we had a chat after Christmas, but we have one more big Christmas season celebration, the Feast of the Epiphany on Sunday, the visit of the Magi, and then the baptism of the Lord will be the following Monday, and that's it. So January 8th. We're going to have 3 baptisms on Sunday at the 10 o'clock Mass. We're trying to figure out where to put the font, because the nativity scene is up where the font would usually be. So, but we'll figure something nice out. Christmas tree takedown. We need volunteers to help with that. So if anybody will come back after the 10 o'clock, so 11 o'clock or so. Baptism Mass, so maybe 11:10, 11:05. And so be that, or you can hang around if you're at the 10 o'clock Mass. Other things. We have a couple big food events in January. So Italian takeout dinner. It's been in the works for a long time, and it's just takeout only, so it won't be a sit-down. Beth Cerny and her crew, homemade pasta that becomes ravioli, stuffed with 5 cheeses, a blend of 5 cheeses, and a wonderful tomato sauce, homemade Italian sausage, garlic bread, and tiramisu. It's a beautiful coffee-flavored dessert with a lot of cream, which is what I like. If I have to pick between whipped cream and chocolate, I'm always going to go with the whipped cream. Put them together, and that's not bad either. The Next, the other food, so that will be again takeout only, and that will go to benefit the service project. The group, the high school students and chaperones, are going to take a trip over to Billings, Montana. It's part of it's a Catholic organization that supplies service opportunities for older youth throughout the country, and we were able to land Billings, Montana. First one for Knoxville, Tennessee, but couldn't get that, even though Kelly was right there at like 8 o'clock when I guess Knoxville people wanted it right away. I think Billings would be better because it's near the mountains and things. I think they'll take a little side trip to the mountains. But we're still, I think, a lot of joy in the parish still overflows from our celebration of Jesus' birth, but also Emma's birth 100 years ago. December 29th, 1923, Emma Kuster was born, and then she married Eddie Barnett. And I got to learn a lot about her life and hearing different histories and slideshows that I saw, and some family celebrations. And then we had such a beautiful, I think, end of our 10 o'clock Mass. Father Schultz was there, and he and I offered, and all the congregation offered Emma a blessing, which I was privileged to be able to articulate. And she was just beaming, you know. And then as she walked down from the sanctuary to her pew, everybody just stood up and clapped, and it was just really super joyful. Just a great person, great church member, present at things, reasonable, kind, considerate, speaks her convictions, but knows that other people's opinions are just as important as hers. And I don't know, it's just a great model, I think, for anybody to follow. That's why she said something to me about, after the standing ovation, I didn't really do anything, extraordinary. And I'm like, well, 100 years of just being pretty darn good. It's pretty extraordinary. So anyway, it was a happy time. Long time in the planning. So I wonder how she's feeling this week. What's next? I guess 101. But so speaking of our older parishioners, I don't know if she's the oldest. She might be. We have a parishioner named Mary Jane, who is 101 and 8 months, and she's not doing well physically. So I think spiritually she's doing great. She's surrounded by love for family, and we had the sacraments for her last night. And so I want to keep Mary Jane in your prayers. Her passage. Sandwiching the really serious things with frivolous things. Just got to keep you on your toes, I guess. So after that serious thing, lighter thing, pool tournament, just coming attraction. Pool tournament is going to be, I usually do it on the Sunday before the Super Bowl, between the conference championships and the Super Bowl. So we didn't conflict with the Packers. Now that's not as much of a threat, but maybe Packers can turn it on. Win on Sunday and get in the playoffs and ride the wave to the Super Bowl. Why not? Anyway, but we're having a February 2023 pilgrimage to the Holy Land reunion on that Sunday. So the pool tournament will be on February 18th, the Sunday after the Super Bowl. Okay? And it's fun. It's whoever shows up. It's different skill levels. It's nice if you know kind of how to hold the cue, and for sure, But we usually play cutthroat. We split up into teams of 3 or maybe teams. It just depends how many people show up. I think last time we had 9 people, but we could accommodate 18 people. We'll play usually cutthroat teams of 3 people. So anyway, that's good. I'll supply the tunes, be food and drink. So that wasn't actually the other food event. So besides the Italian takeout, did I even mention the date? It's going to be on January 20th, but you got to call your order in advance because it's just takeout. So they'll get the orders, they'll know how much to cook, and then it's $15 a meal, and all those things I told you about are included in that. I'm sorry, I'm just flipping over. I probably had a little caffeine an hour ago, so got to discipline my mind. The other food event, Catholic Charities of Diocese of La Crosse, basically is the administrator, runs Sojourner House, a big part of Haven House, both that serve the homeless. Haven House is a warming place in the day. Sojourner House is an overnight shelter. And the Sojourner House annual budget is $500,000, and about $100,000 of that comes from grants, government support, diocesan annual appeal. The rest they have to raise. And so one of their big fundraisers is the evening in the Chippewa, and it'll be at Florian Gardens. It's $50 a plate on Friday, January 26th. One of our parishioners is buying a table, and so that's good. I think the parish will reserve a table. I don't know if we're going to buy a table, meaning, so if you would like to come and sit with other parishioners, let me know, and we'll get you at our table that we'll reserve for St. James folks. So I think we got at least room for 14. Myself, Sharon, who's doing the other table, and then 14 others. So should be good, right? And some, it goes to a good cause. A lot of sickness, huh? There's a lot of sickness. Our staff has really been hit hard with sickness. I have avoided it so far, so I'm glad about that. But I feel bad, of course, for those around me who are suffering, but they seem to be on the upswing right now. But except for one got just sick yesterday, so flu, COVID, who knows what everything is, but they're and so a lot of you must be sick too. So again, if you're sick, not a sin to skip Mass. In fact, it might be a sin to go to Mass if you know you're sick, and to spread it, so it's always a judgment call, but be smart, try to not infect other folks, right? So wash your hands, all that. I won't name names, but I was at a meeting, and this is not a person that I think of as sloppy in speech or spewing a lot, but she was sitting, so the sun was right behind her. Could have been a man too, I'll just say her. And we were talking, just having a discussion, because the sun, it was like these sun rays were coming, so every time she spoke, you just see the droplets. You always hear about these droplets that carry viruses, and you could just see them like coming out, And I was like, wow, no wonder people recommend masks to inhibit the spread of airborne, droplet-borne viruses, So anyway, with that pleasant image, I just thought I'd share that because I kind of witnessed that. I thought, oh, okay. I think I'll slide my chair back a few inches. Boy, the topics I get on, huh? Hey, we had school mass today in the Christmas season. It's our only school mass during the Christmas season. But it was lovely. The teachers did the readings and the prayers because it's the first day back for the school children. And I was just contemplating a little bit what to ask them. I like to have a question because they're always eager to give me some beautiful answers. And there's this idea that God became human so that humans could become divine. And he took on our nature so that our nature could imitate his nature. We know what it's like for God to behave in human form. So I didn't get into all that. I mentioned a little bit at the end, just as a brain teaser. But basically, all that led me to ponder, how is Jesus different from us? And how is Jesus the same as us? And they were good. All the hands shot up. It's nice when you hit a question that they want to actually answer. And we said that he's different from us because so he never messes up. And I said, you mean like he never sins, huh? And he goes, yeah, he never sins. And I said, that's right. And then another girl said, that was a boy. And then a girl said, he's never mean. I like that answer because she doesn't want to say he never sins. That's kind of general, but what is sin? Never mean. I said, yeah, even though he might sometimes in the gospel stories get so angry about a couple things, he's never mean, He's never has meanness in her heart. Anyway, I thought that was a great answer. How else did it say it was different? I don't know if they ever. I don't think they got into. You could just say that he's God. That would be a difference. I'm not sure they mentioned that, but they said good things. And then I said, well, how is he the same as us? And little Ellie, she's a first grader, she just took it. She took it away. A great response. She said, well, he's the same as us because he loves us and we love him. Is that a great answer? It goes right to the relationship. He's the same. He loves us. We love him. There's an equality there in the relationship. But that's a good answer, Ellie. And other people, they sort of imitated that answer because they could see how pleased I was with the answer. They said, he's human and we're human. I go, yeah, he's human. He's divine too. He's God, but he's also human. He's fully 100% human like us. And so what our arms could do, his arms could do, and vice versa. And they said things like, he helped people, we can help people. And one of the other differences they said it was the miracles. I said, yeah, that's right. It's hard to make a blind person see, by touching them, and he had that divine power. So, anyways, I thought it was really, really good, especially that he loves us and we love him. It's worth pondering a little bit, I think. But it is that great idea, that God became human so we could become divine. The Greek Orthodox traditions do a better job, I think, of emphasizing that. That's part of salvation too. I think in our Western traditions, salvation is mostly like sin prevents us from getting to heaven, and Jesus forgives our sins so we can go to heaven. And I think in Orthodox theology, it's different. It's more like, I don't know if the word is metaphysical, but it's like his nature takes on our nature, and so it changes our nature. We can share in divine life. He shows us how to share in divine life, which is basically by loving one another, by imitating him, giving our lives away like he gave his life away. He joins himself to us. The great wedding, the divine wedding to his people on the cross. He's lifted up, gives himself totally to us. And he enters our world at Christmas, becomes one of us. It's one of those ideas that I hope it sounds beautiful and interesting to you, that we can share in the life of God through our faith in Jesus. We can feed it and nourish it through our sacraments, through the love we share one another, through serving one another. It's a beautiful way, I think, of looking at Christian life and discipleship. So, in St. Augustine, in terms of our Eucharist, say we become what we eat. We share that life. And we can become more Christ-like through a real heartful, integral celebration of Eucharist, where our heart, mind, and soul is into it, So, anyway, Christmas is good. I got to play recess. They're playing one of my favorite basketball games at recess, and because there's no snow on the ground, it's no problem. Lightning, that game Lightning? So a single line, 2 basketballs, person in front shoots. If he or she misses, the person in second, you just keep trying to make it. You don't have to wait, but the person in front has to shoot before the person behind that person. And if you miss and the person behind you makes it, then you're out. Makes it before you do. And if everyone just makes it in turn, you stay in the game until people, So. Anyway, I used to be pretty good at that, and boy, I think it's the 4th graders that are playing it right now, and I just can't take them. I can't take them down. I got second place today, which is the highest I've gotten. Usually I'm one of the first ones out. I don't know why that is, but I got to work on my game a little bit, I guess. But it's fun. It's great to spend that time with them. Let's see, New Year's Eve retreat. I'm kind of excited. I have plans for April. I was going to go to the Holy Land, lead a pilgrimage, and we had to cancel that the week before Christmas. If you're interested in future pilgrimages, I'm making lists. June 2025, the 5th through the 20th, that's set. Our agent Tamara is going to work on dates for 2026. Most of the people that signed up for this one are more interested in going in 2026, kind of same time of year, April or February. I have to see what's available. If even those are available, we'll see. A lot of people are rebooking because there's so much canceling going on. So I do have the June 25. I already reserved that. And average temperature will be 90. So a lot of people say, oh, it's just too hot, I don't want to go. Understandable, personal choice. The great advantage of going in June is the long days. And so when we get back, for example, to our hotel on the beach, the Sea of Galilee, you have a couple hours to walk the beach, go swimming. I think it'll be really nice actually to be there in June. So anyway, I got about 15 people interested in that. I can take 48. New Year's Eve, I just want, it wasn't a holy day of obligation this year. We had a nice celebration. We had a potluck afterwards and a keg of root beer. If you want a glass of Sprecher root beer from a keg, I think it'll be around for a little while yet. It's just in the gathering space kitchen. I told the principal about it. If she told the teachers, they could go in there and have root beer. But there's a lot of great food besides root beer. And I just wanted to we had about 40 people there for Mass. It wasn't a holy day. It's usually a little bit low. Yeah. I heard other parishes had higher attendance, so of course, I don't know why. But anyway, the Happy New Year. Just the thought I had, it might leave it to something to think about, but I've been kind of pondering it myself as a way to reflect at the turning of a new year. So here we are, January 3rd, right? As you look back on the last year, what helped bring you into deeper communion with God and with other people? I jumped off of that from the story. The gospel is the shepherds. They hear the good news from the angels. Good news for all people. A Savior is born in the city of Bethlehem. But then they have to go and see for themselves. So that experience. And so, have to experience it for themselves. And they find the Christ child in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And they go out and tell everybody what they've seen. Anyway, this experience. So what's your experience been of growing in deeper communion with God and His people? What has worked? What in your life, is it something that just happened? Or is it a habit that you've cultivated, or certain things you did? What works for you to draw you into deeper communion with Christ and His people? I thought that was a good question. I've been thinking about that myself. And then the other question was, what doesn't? What are the things that your actions or events in your life in 2023 that threatened the deeper communion, that maybe pulled you away from deeper communion, interfered with deeper communion with God, deeper communion with His people? Pretty. I might bring that back for Lent as a theme, something for us to contemplate. In terms of salvation, what is it to be saved? Sharing divine life, more of an Eastern tradition. Experiencing forgiveness in heaven, more of a Western tradition. I think for me right now, it's like sharing. It's kind of like maybe it's sharing in divine life. It's experiencing deeper communion. That love. That I'm closer to God. God has experienced closeness or intimacy with God, and closeness and intimacy with His people. And that's the goal. That's the goal of being a disciple of Jesus. On the cross, Jesus just gives Himself away to be as close to us. So there's nothing we could experience that He wouldn't know about and enter into with His divine love. So again, the Christians in Gaza, it's Christmas. I wonder what Good Friday will be like for them. I hope takes some hope and strength that He's with them. He knows what it's like to be tortured and killed. So anyway, So, what helps you grow into deeper communion with God and His people? What interferes with you? And then when you're doing that, and if you identify things, then you ask for God's help, right? Keep me going here. Give me these other, what's been working, help me to continue that. What's not been working, what's really been in the way, help me try to change that. And if it's going that way, it's probably hard to change because we have these habits, and we do need God's help. And of course, God's mercy. That He's walking behind us to pick us up when we fall, right? There's never a hopeless place. So I think that's what I got. Okay, so God bless everybody. I'll let you take in this beautiful scene here. Hopefully you can hear the waters. God bless you. Happy New Year.